Imagine walking into a room where everyone believes they already know how the game is played, who holds the power, who sets the rules, and who decides the future. For years, Asia's story has been told through one dominant voice, repeated so often that it began to feel like unshakable truth. But here's the thing, truth in business, politics, and life is never permanent. It shifts, it evolves, and it rewards those who are brave enough to see what others overlook. Today, we're witnessing a quiet but powerful transformation. The influence that once seemed untouchable is now slipping, and in its place, a new contender is rising. Not by chance, but through vision, resilience, and the ability to turn challenges into opportunities. This is not a story about replacing one power with another. It's about the birth of a new chapter in Asia's history where strategy beats size and agility outpaces arrogance. As we go on this journey together, I want you to think like an entrepreneur watching a market disruption. You see alliances shift, corridors open, technologies change hands, and cultures rise to claim their place. By the end of this talk, you won't just understand what is happening, you understand why it's happening, and why those who pay attention today will be the ones shipping tomorrow. So sit tight. The game is changing, the rules are rewriting themselves, and the most interesting part, the story has just begun. For years, India's lobbying efforts in Asia were considered a model of strategic influence, skillfully combining political diplomacy, economic partnerships, and cultural engagement to secure its place as a key decision maker in the region. Through carefully cultivated networks in government corridors, think tanks, trade organizations, and even media channels, India managed to frame narratives that aligned with its national interests, often swaying policies, investment flows, and public perception in its favor. However, in recent years, the once seamless machinery of this influence has begun to falter, facing mounting challenges from shifting geopolitical dynamics and a rapidly changing economic landscape. One of the primary reasons for this decline is the rise of multipolar thinking among Asian nations. Instead of relying on a single dominant voice, countries are now seeking a balanced approach to partnerships, distributing their political and economic bets more evenly. This change has made it harder for any one nation, including India, to monopolize influence in regional decision-making. In parallel, India's attempts to use its large market as leverage have met resistance as alternative trade and investment destinations such as Pakistan, Vietnam, and Central Asian states become increasingly attractive to foreign investors and policymakers. The decline is also tied to the perception of India's recent foreign policy choices, which in some cases have been seen as overly aligned with Western strategic priorities, raising concerns among neighboring countries about its commitment to regional autonomy. This perception has eroded trust in some Asian capitals that once regarded India as a champion of regional solidarity. Furthermore, the region's rapidly evolving economic corridors, especially those driven by China's Belt and Road Initiative, have reduced India's ability to dictate the terms of trade and connectivity. Adding to these challenges is the growing sophistication of competing diplomatic networks. Pakistan in particular has expanded its outreach in key sectors such as energy, infrastructure, and security, offering tangible benefits that make its partnerships appealing. With new narratives emerging about shared growth, mutual respect, and balanced cooperation, many Asian countries are finding a compelling alternative to the older model of India-led lobbying. This combination of geopolitical shifts, competitive economic opportunities, and changing public perception has led to a noticeable erosion of the Indian lobbyist dominance in the region, setting the stage for new power alignments in Asia. The balance of power in Asia is undergoing a profound transformation, and at the heart of this change is a noticeable shift in strategic alliances that increasingly favor Pakistan. For decades, India held a comfortable advantage in cultivating political, economic, and security partnerships across the region, often using its size, market potential, and diplomatic networks to cement its position. However, the geopolitical map is being redrawn as more nations explore closer cooperation with Pakistan, driven by both pragmatic considerations and evolving regional priorities. Pakistan's growing importance is partly anchored in its geographic position, serving as a bridge between South Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, and China. This location gives it a unique advantage in facilitating trade routes, energy pipelines, and security linkages that are critical to regional stability. Countries looking to diversify their partnerships are finding that engaging with Pakistan opens access to not only new markets, but also strategic transit corridors that bypass congested or politically sensitive routes dominated by India. China's deepened relationship with Pakistan through projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor has been a catalyst in this shift. It has not only brought infrastructure development and investment, but also amplified Pakistan's role in shaping the region's economic architecture. This has encouraged other states, such as Turkey, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and several Central Asian republics, to strengthen ties with Islamabad, seeing it as a rising power capable of complementing their own strategic objectives. The military and security domain has also contributed to this reorientation. Pakistan's role in regional counter-terrorism efforts, peacekeeping initiatives, and defense collaborations has earned it credibility in circles where India's policies are increasingly questioned. Joint exercises with countries in the Middle East, expanding defense technology exchanges, and cooperative training programs have built a network of trust that goes beyond traditional alliances. Moreover, diplomatic momentum has shifted as Pakistan actively participates in multilateral forums, positioning itself as a voice for equitable growth, regional peace, and mutual respect among nations. In contrast, India's assertive posture on certain disputes has in some cases alienated potential allies and opened diplomatic space for Pakistan to step in with a more conciliatory or mutually beneficial approach. As a result, the slow but steady tilt of regional partnerships toward Pakistan signals a changing Asian order, where influence is no longer the monopoly of one state, but a competitive dynamic landscape in which Islamabad is emerging as a significant player. One of the most decisive factors in the changing regional power equation is Pakistan's growing advantage in connectivity and trade facilitation through strategic economic corridors. For years, India leveraged its size and market reach to dominate regional trade routes and economic frameworks. But recent infrastructure and investment developments have shifted the momentum. Pakistan's position as a natural gateway linking South Asia with Central Asia, the Middle East, and China has placed it at the center of some of the most ambitious connectivity projects in the region. The flagship among these is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a multi-billion-dollar network of highways, railways, ports, and energy pipelines that not only strengthens Pakistan's internal infrastructure, but also opens up unprecedented transit opportunities for neighboring countries. By connecting China's western provinces directly to the Arabian Sea via Gwadar Port, CPEC shortens trade routes, reduces shipping costs, and provides a secure alternative to traditional maritime choke points. This logistical advantage has drawn interest from countries seeking faster and more reliable access to global markets. Beyond CPEC, Pakistan has been actively participating in regional integration initiatives such as the Central Asia Regional Economic Cooperation Program and the Belt and Road Initiative. These frameworks allow Pakistan to position itself as a hub for energy transmission, digital connectivity, and overland freight, offering viable alternatives to the longer, costly, and sometimes politically contentious routes passing through India. Gwadar Port, in particular, is emerging as a game changer with its deep water capacity and strategic location just outside the Strait of Hormuz. It offers an ideal transshipment point for Gulf, African, and East Asian markets. As development continues, Gwadar is poised to compete with major Indian ports, gradually eroding India's monopoly over certain maritime trade channels in the region. Energy infrastructure is another critical component of this advantage. Projects linking Pakistan with Iran, Turkmenistan, and other energy-rich states promise to make the country a central player in regional energy security. This capability not only strengthens economic ties, but also adds a layer of strategic interdependence that reinforces Pakistan's role as a partner of choice. The cumulative effect of these initiatives is a significant boost to Pakistan's geopolitical relevance. Countries that once looked to India as their primary trade and connectivity partner are now factoring Pakistan into their long-term economic strategies, creating a competitive environment in which influence is measured not just by market size, but by control over the arteries of regional commerce. Pakistan's emergence as an attractive destination for technology and innovation partnerships is steadily challenging India's long-standing position as Asia's primary hub for IT outsourcing and tech-driven services. For years, India benefited from an early start in the global technology market, building a reputation for large-scale software development, call center operations, and engineering services. However, rising operational cost, saturation of talent pools in certain urban centers, and increasing geopolitical scrutiny have begun to create opportunities for other regional players. Pakistan, with its youthful population, cost competitiveness, and improving digital infrastructure, is rapidly positioning itself to take advantage of this opening. The country's demographic profile is one of its greatest strengths. With a median age under 24 and a rapidly growing number of STEM graduates, Pakistan is cultivating a workforce that is both tech-savvy and adaptable. Government-backed initiatives, along with private sector investment, are expanding digital literacy, promoting entrepreneurship, and encouraging skill development in areas like artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and cybersecurity. This creates a talent base that is not only affordable for global investors, but also capable of producing innovative, high-value solutions. Pakistan's startup ecosystem is another driver of this shift. Over the past few years, there has been a surge in venture capital funding for Pakistani startups in sectors such as e-commerce, logistics, digital payments, and health technology. These ventures are attracting attention from investors in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and even North America, who see Pakistan as a market with significant growth potential and untapped niches. This trend mirrors, in some respects, the early growth phases of India's own startup sector, but with the advantage of lower costs and less market saturation. The country's improving technology infrastructure also plays a pivotal role. Nationwide expansion of broadband internet, increased smartphone penetration, and the rollout of 4G and preparations for 5G are enhancing connectivity and creating a fertile environment for digital services. The establishment of special technology zones and incentives for foreign tech firms further strengthen Pakistan's appeal as a base for regional operations. Geopolitically, Pakistan benefits from diverse partnerships that allow it to tap into technology transfer opportunities from multiple directions, China, the Gulf states, and Western markets, without being overly dependent on a single source. This diversification contrasts with India's growing alignment with certain political blocs, which has at times complicated its technology partnerships. As global companies reassess their outsourcing strategies, Pakistan's blend of affordability, talent, and strategic positioning is increasingly drawing interest as a viable alternative in Asia's competitive technology landscape. Pakistan's growing influence in Asia is not limited to geopolitics and economics. It is increasingly reflected in the sphere of soft power, where culture, tourism, and media play a decisive role. For decades, India enjoyed near-question dominance in projecting its cultural narrative across Asia, largely through Bollywood, cricket diplomacy, and extensive media networks. However, shifts in global consumption habits, changing political perceptions, and Pakistan's own renewed cultural outreach are gradually rebalancing this space. Cultural exports from Pakistan, particularly in the music and drama industries, have found loyal audiences beyond its borders. Pakistani television dramas, known for their nuance, storytelling, and high production values, have gained popularity in countries across South Asia, the Middle East, and even parts of Southeast Asia. Similarly, Pakistani music, ranging from classical qawwali to contemporary fusion, has found resonance with global listeners through digital platforms, bypassing traditional media barriers. This accessibility has allowed Pakistan to connect with audiences on cultural terms rather than solely through political channels. Tourism is another dimension where Pakistan is making steady gains. Once overlooked due to security concerns, the country is now being rediscovered as a destination of extraordinary natural beauty, historical depth, and cultural diversity. Initiatives such as improved visa policies, infrastructure upgrades, and international promotional campaigns have helped attract visitors from Europe, East Asia, and the Gulf. From the towering peaks of the Karakoram to the ancient archaeological sites of Mohenjo-daro and Taxila, Pakistan is positioning itself as a unique and authentic travel experience, distinct from the more commercialized tourist circuits in the region. Media, both traditional and digital, is amplifying this cultural resurgence. International coverage of Pakistan's art festivals, film productions, and sporting events is helping to counter outdated stereotypes. The rise of Pakistani influencers, YouTubers, and digital content creators has also provided new, independent avenues for shaping the country's image abroad. This is particularly significant in an era where social media can reach audiences faster and more persuasively than conventional diplomatic campaigns. The combination of cultural exports, tourism growth, and expanding media presence is steadily increasing Pakistan's soft power footprint. In doing so, it offers an alternative narrative to India's long-held dominance in cultural diplomacy, giving Pakistan a platform to engage with the region not just as a strategic or economic player, but as a source of inspiration, creativity, and shared heritage that resonates beyond political boundaries. Asia's security environment is undergoing a notable transformation, and Pakistan is increasingly emerging as a pivotal player in shaping its future architecture. For decades, India positioned itself as a key security partner for various regional and extra-regional powers, using its military capacity, strategic location, and diplomatic networks to influence defense cooperation. However, a combination of shifting alliances, evolving threats, and new security priorities has created space for Pakistan to step into roles that were previously dominated by its neighbor. Pakistan's strategic geography remains one of its strongest assets in this shift. Situated at the crossroads of South Asia, Central Asia, the Middle East, and China, it occupies a position critical to trade security, energy transit, and military logistics. This location makes Pakistan an indispensable partner for initiatives aimed at securing sea lanes, stabilizing border regions, and countering non-traditional threats such as piracy, terrorism, and cybercrime. Countries seeking a broader security network increasingly recognize Pakistan's ability to provide both access and influence across multiple regions. In recent years, Pakistan has deepened its involvement in multinational defense exercises and security dialogues. Engagements with countries such as China, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and various Central Asian states have expanded from symbolic gestures to practical cooperation, including joint drills, technology transfers, and coordinated intelligence sharing. Participation in platforms like the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Security Framework has further positioned Pakistan as a bridge between different power blocs, giving it diplomatic weight in conflict resolution and counter-terrorism efforts. Pakistan's military has also built a reputation for professionalism and operational experience, particularly in counterinsurgency and peacekeeping missions. Its contributions to United Nations peacekeeping operations and successful domestic security campaigns have enhanced its credibility as a capable and reliable partner. This operational track record provides reassurance to states looking for dependable allies in complex security environments. The evolving nature of threats in Asia, ranging from cross-border militancy to emerging cyber and hybrid warfare, has increased demand for flexible, intelligence-driven security cooperation. Pakistan's willingness to engage in such collaboration without aligning itself rigidly to any single global power offers partners a level of diplomatic and strategic maneuverability that is becoming increasingly valuable. By combining its geographic advantages, operational expertise, and diplomatic adaptability, Pakistan is steadily integrating itself into the core of Asia's emerging security framework, reducing India's once dominant position and contributing to a more diversified balance of power in the region. In conclusion, the shifting tides of Asia's political, economic, and cultural landscape are redefining the balance of influence in ways that were once unthinkable. The decline of the Indian lobby's dominance is not the result of a single event, but a combination of evolving alliances, emerging trade corridors, technological realignments, cultural diversification, and new security arrangements. At the center of this transformation stands Pakistan, leveraging its geography, resources, partnerships, and vision to claim a role that is both dynamic and enduring. This is not merely the story of one nation rising as another's influence wanes. It is the unfolding of a more multipolar, intercompetitive, and competitive Asia, where success will belong to those who adapt, innovate, and collaborate with sincerity and purpose. Good luck to everyone striving to navigate this changing world with courage and foresight. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your commitment to understanding the deeper forces shaping our shared future.